The stadium felt alive, the dog pound shaking like an earthquake, fans draped in orange and brown roaring with the belief that history was about to unfold. This was supposed to be the moment, the dawn of a new era. Cleveland had their prized rookie quarterback, a young star with swagger and poise, a player the owner himself had fought to bring to the city. But when kickoff came, Shadur Sanders was nowhere to be found. No helmet, no huddle, just street clothes and a headset on the sideline. The future of the franchise stood still while the present collapsed on live television. Kevin Stefanski had made his choice. He doubled down on his system, his veterans, his way. He handed the ball to Joe Flacco, a 38-year-old journeyman signed off the street, and prayed experience would outweigh energy. For a while, it looked like maybe, just maybe, the gamble would pay off. Flacco moved the chains, piled up nearly 300 yards, even showed flashes of the arm talent that once carried him to a Super Bowl ring. But then came the collapse, the brutal interceptions, the missed kicks, the dropped passes. In a game where Cleveland's defense smothered Joe Burrow and held the Bengals to 17 points, it didn't matter. The Browns had beaten themselves again. Losing 17-6 in a divisional game, they had no business surrendering, and the outrage was immediate. Fans weren't just frustrated by the scoreline. They were furious about the decision. Why wasn't Sanders on the field? Why was the rookie phenom, the symbol of a new beginning, left to watch the season opener like a bystander? To them, this wasn't just a loss. It was sabotage. Behind the scenes, the story was even darker. Reports swirled that Jimmy Haslam, the Browns' fiery and impatient owner, had wanted Sanders starting from day one. He didn't draft him to sit. He didn't fight to bring him to Cleveland to watch him clap from the sidelines. Haslam believed in Sanders' mobility, his composure, his ability to avoid the exact kind of mistakes that doomed Flacco. He saw the rookie not just as a quarterback, but as a brand. Sanders was box office. His jersey sales were already surging. His name carried weight across the nation, and his every snap would draw eyes from coast to coast. To Haslam, starting Sanders wasn't a suggestion. It was an order. Stefanski ignored it. When the game ended in heartbreak, Haslam's fury boiled over. Cameras caught him storming out of his suite, jaw tight, muttering curses under his breath. Inside the walls of the stadium, whispers spread like wildfire that he had confronted Stefanski behind closed doors with an ultimatum: play my quarterback or find another job. This wasn't just about a bad game. It was about power, because buried deep in Sanders' rookie contract, insiders say, is a clause unlike anything the Browns have ever handed out. A primetime incentive, not based on touchdowns or yards, but on exposure. A guarantee that Sanders would see the field in nationally televised games. It was a marketing masterstroke, tying the player's on-field opportunities to his growing empire off of it. But in week one, Stefanski threw that aside. He put his system above his owner, above the contract, above the future of the franchise. And in doing so, he may have sparked a war for the soul of the Cleveland Browns. The fan reaction was volcanic. Social media erupted with hashtags demanding Stefanski's firing. Talk radio callers fumed that the Browns were wasting their chance to escape decades of mediocrity. "We didn't draft Shadur Sanders to sit in sweats," one fan tweeted, the post racking up thousands of likes within minutes. By Monday morning, the Cleveland Plain Dealer headline cut like a funeral notice: "Browns blow it again." Inside the locker room, the tension was just as sharp. Veterans quietly backed Flacco, pointing to his experience and leadership. But the younger players, the ones who had watched Sanders torch defenses in college, were restless. They whispered about how his energy could have changed the outcome, how the mistakes that doomed them weren't about talent, but about decisions. One anonymous player didn't hold back, telling reporters, "We all saw camp. Shedeur can ball. We didn't lose because we didn't have talent. We lost because we didn't use it, and that's the heart of it. The Browns aren't short on talent." Myles Garrett was unstoppable, collapsing the pocket again and again. The secondary bottled up Burrow. Even Flacco, despite his crushing turnovers, showed enough to keep them competitive. But the problem wasn't talent, it was philosophy. A refusal to adapt, a refusal to embrace the future. The parallels are hard to ignore. NFL history is littered with moments where coaches were forced to make bold decisions, to hand the reins to unproven players. Bill Belichick benched Drew Bledsoe and unleashed Tom Brady. Pete Carroll trusted a rookie named Russell Wilson over a high-priced veteran. Those choices changed the league forever. Cleveland had the same chance. Instead, they clung to the past, and now they're paying the price. Stefanski's post-game press conference was filled with the usual platitudes. "We're sticking with the plan," he told reporters, his voice flat. He talked about execution, about learning from mistakes, about focusing on the next game. But everyone in the room knew what he wasn't saying. He wasn't addressing the elephant in the room, the rookie quarterback sitting silent in the shadows, the owner furious in the suites above, the fans ready to revolt. This is bigger than one loss. It's bigger than one bad decision. It's about whether the Browns are willing to break free from the ghosts that have haunted them for decades, or whether they'll let stubbornness bury them again. Since 1999, they've burned through more than 30 quarterbacks, each one hailed as the savior, each one swallowed by the same cycle of dysfunction. Sanders represents something different, not just hope, but relevance, momentum, and the chance to reset a franchise cursed with collapse, and that's what makes this war so dangerous. On one side is Haslam, the billionaire owner who sees Sanders as both a quarterback and a billion-dollar brand. On the other is Stefanski, the system coach, determined to prove that his playbook, his process, and his timeline come first. Caught. In the middle is GM Andrew Berry, balancing contracts, egos, and the long-term vision of a team that can't seem to escape its own shadow. For now, Sanders waits. He hasn't spoken. No interviews, no tweets, no grand statements, just a stone-faced rookie walking into the facility with headphones on, letting the storm swirl around him. But every day he doesn't play, his legend only grows. The fans want him, the media hypes him, the owner demands him, and Stefanski knows that the longer he resists, the closer he gets to losing everything. Week 2 looms like a guillotine. Another divisional matchup, another chance to prove that Week 1 was just a stumble. But in the AFC North, there are no second chances. Start 0-2, and the season is almost certainly lost. The Ravens are surging. The Bengals just stole a win. The Steelers are circling. If Cleveland stumbles again, their playoff hopes will vanish before September ends. And if Sanders is still holding a clipboard when that happens, the storm of outrage will make this week look like a drizzle compared to the hurricane waiting to break. The Browns had a chance to rewrite their story in Week 1. Instead, they repeated the same tragedy fans have lived for decades, a winnable game thrown away by mistakes, stubbornness, and a refusal to embrace the future. But this time, the stakes are different, because this time, the future has a name. Shadur Sanders. Jimmy, Haslam knows it. The fans know it. The league knows it. The countdown has already begun. The only question now is whether Kevin Stefanski will swallow his pride and unleash the rookie who could save the franchise, or whether he'll cling to control and watch both his team and his job slip away. Cleveland's future hangs in the balance, and the clock is ticking.